Hello and welcome back to the From a Skein podcast. My name is Kristen and I'm the knitter and the maker here at From a Skein. You can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Knitting Chris. And there's, I think, links to my podcast and the YouTube channel on my Instagram. But I thought I would show you some things today that start with B, babies and blankets. So I hope that you're here. If you want to grab a little drink or something, we'll just do a short podcast to show you what I've been working on and what has been going on. It's been a little busy time of year here. It's beautiful. It's a Sunday late morning and the sun is right here. So it's a Sunday late morning in Pennsylvania where fall is almost arriving. It's still warm on some days. It is very chilly in the morning and it is a nice crisp evening. So I'm enjoying this time of year. It is my favorite. So let's get into some of the things I've been working on in knitting. I'll save my socks because there are quite a few of them. There might be a sockscapade or something, sockcapade in the future. I have a ton of them because I'm cranking them out. They're kind of my go-to thing. But for now, we'll talk about the baby things because I have to gift these things very shortly. So I will show you some of the things I've finished and am working on. And another blanket that I've started that's going to be probably a year or more long process. So first up, so one of my very best friends for the longest time had her first granddaughter not too long ago. And so I thought, you know, she's 3 sons, so she's not had any little girls. So I wanted to make some things for her granddaughter. So I bought a new sweater pattern on Ravelry, and this is the Aosta baby pattern. I'm going to try this to put a little picture of the pattern up here. I think this sweater also comes in toddler sizes, and also there's a pattern for adults. And I think it's just a very sweet pattern. It was actually, the construction of it was very easy. There were very pretty easy to follow directions for knitting it, and I will just show it to you here now. It's very sweet. It is a top-down sweater, and it is knit with some raglan increases here, but it actually has this cute little, and it kind of popped open there, button band that you knit. And it's like a little button band that has, you know, goes right up, so easy to get over a baby's head. I found these cute little heart buttons at my little local, believe it or not, Mennonite store. Back is just done, again, just a plain back with the raglan increases. And it's knit on US 5 and 6 in a kind of like DK to sport weight yarn I'll show here in a minute. So new to me things that I've done, and I realized last week I was talking a lot, last podcast, I was talking a lot while holding things in front of my face, so I apologize for that. That can be very hard if you have issues with hearing, so I want to be more mindful of that. This sweater really should have been knit quickly, or much quicker than I did. So it's actually a quick knit. It is, if you can knit, and this is something I need to take to heart. If you can knit something like this, you can definitely knit garments for yourself as an adult. How's that sound? I don't know why I struggle with transferring that concept. I started a petite knit vest, or slip over now it's called, I guess, and it's sitting there languishing, not because I can't do it or follow the instructions, but because I just hesitate, you know, about the fit. But if you can knit these types of things, this is a great starting point if you're worried about starting or knitting a sweater. These baby sweaters are very easy to knit. They follow the directions, and you find that a lot of times they are very similar to what you're knitting in an adult size sweater. And I've knit a couple adult size sweaters. Maybe I'll dig them out and put them on as well in the future. but this is the, I believe it's called AOSTA pattern by Knit Pearl Girl, it's a paper pattern I purchased on Ravelry. And new to me in this pattern is a tubular bind off. So that's just basically where you will bind off, and it's a sewn bind off at the end that there's lots of like tutorials on. It just makes it seamless in that stitching, the knit one purl one ribbing. I found the tutorial from Berry Pink Knits to be very helpful in the bind off. It's the first time that I've used it in any type of garment. It's very stretchy. You can see here it's very stretchy. I didn't follow the tutorial, or I didn't look at a tutorial at first, and so the back of mine is somewhat a little bit not great because I wasn't quite doing it correctly, but managed to do it in the front. And again, bind off, very easy, stretchy to get over, you know, stretch over a baby's head. So I think it's very easy to learn, and I'm glad that I learned a new technique. I always like learning new things. So I would highly recommend this pattern. It's very sweet. I better get it to the baby soon because she'll soon outgrow it, and I want her to be able to wear it a little bit first. And so that's the first thing that I've done. Also for her, I did my usual, and I'm sorry, again, it seems like a speedway by my house today when it's usually very quiet. This is just a very large granny square. So I did a large granny square blanket, and I just started, you know, right here at the middle. Cast on, you know, do your little, it's really not a pattern, it's just something I do, and you just keep increasing every row and getting one row bigger. I do at the end put a scallop border on, and a lot of people have asked. I do not flip my work between rows, which I think I might do if, well, not if, when I knit the next one, just to see the difference. I don't, what I mean by flip it is like usually start and then just keep going around the same way. But I think I'm going to start doing a row, flipping my work, doing another row that way, flipping my work. So each row, flip of the work. I think it would just lie flatter at the end. This also has a scalloped edging on it, and I chose to, because when I bought this, actually bought this yarn thinking I might do the sweater out of it, but it came and it was a little too thick for what the pattern called for. So I did I had 4 skeins of this soft, I think it's called shell yarn, and this is made with a, I think, size G hook, and a it's actually Yarn Bee ID. So I think this makes such nice blankets. It's friendly as far as like washing and drying. It is I think a mixture of polymid and acrylic. So I feel like that's like sort of like a nylon acrylic, but it's so soft you would never know. It does not hurt my hands. And then I did the scalloped edging in the oatmeal or oats colorway in the same company. So it's Yarn Bee Yarn ID, I think it is. And I used 4 skeins of the shell, soft shell, and then the borders done in the oats. So it's done. The ends are woven in on this one, and it's fairly nice size for just, I usually make these with 6 skeins of the main color and then, you know, do the border. So this actually had 4, but it's still a very large, pretty large blanket. So I'm very happy with that. So I hope to gift those things in the next week or so to my friend's granddaughter so that she can enjoy them. In the meantime, I also just knit another one. I like to have them on hand in case I need a quick gift. This does not have the ends woven in, so I will show you the right side. This is my usual size of baby blanket, believe it or not. It's usually 6 skeins of that Yarn B, and I'll try to ID, and this is the Oats colorway. And again, it's just a standard granny square, round and round. It seems to be my TV knitting, or we don't really watch, what am I saying? We don't really watch TV, so I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch Netflix or something I can stream like that, Amazon Prime. I don't watch a ton of TV except for weather or news. That's usually it. But again, it just has the scalloped border on it, which I think just is a nice finishing touch. I will say this, so usually you're doing US double crochets for the pattern, you know, with that in there. I do put a row of single crochet around the edge of it before I start the scalloped border. And all of these techniques can be found free on YouTube. So if you're having any issues with it, again, probably done with a G hook, size G hook. So nice size blanket. Don't have a recipient for it yet. I have sold some of my blankets like this, so you know, if somebody wants one, this is a very nice neutral color for a baby, and I'm glad to have it available for use. So there is that blanket. I also knit my oldest daughter a blanket for her birthday. Maybe I'll try to do a second video and tag it into this one. I'm going to try a new thing for me because we're learning all the things. And maybe put this through iMovie for some processing and things like that. So I will, if I can, I'll record a second episode where I get that blanket so I can show it to you, because I think that was a super cute pattern that I knit for her birthday. But back on, oh, and I wanted to share, sorry, a little scattered today. I don't have show notes, so this is, or notes down, so this is a little bit scattered. But I wanted to share what this sweater was knit out of. So it is this Baby Bee Sweet Delight. Again, it's a commercial yarn, and I would have to say that I'm really a knitter that's about using hand-dyed yarns and things like that. But when I am gift knitting, I feel like sometimes you have to think about the recipient, you know, if they're gonna, as a newborn, you know, a parent of a newborn, it's really hard to just keep up with everything. I don't want to have to think about, you know, if you need to wash it, just, you know, put it in the washer. So I want to make it super user friendly. So this was, I think when I bought it, less than $5 a skein. I didn't even use one skein for the sweater. So I do have, I thought I bought 3 because I wasn't sure, you know, I wasn't sure of the thickness of the yarn. This yarn is so soft. I'm not sponsored by this company, I swear I'm not. It is, I think 60% acrylic and 40% polymid again, and it comes in 377 yards for this one skein, which is a really good skein. And I would say it runs probably like a heavy sport to DK weight. And I think it's made to be washable. You know, I think that you don't need to iron it or anything like that. You can wash it. And I think that's the most important thing for a parent, right? So hopefully, the whole time I'm holding it, there you go. I told you I'm a little scattered today, right? I'm so scattered. But anyway, there you go. This yarn. Sorry, we were at a wedding yesterday, and I think I'm just a little bit tired yet. All right, so the long-term blanket project. I'm a big fan of, speaking of hand-dyed yarns, I'm a big fan of Ruby and Roses. She's a very young yarn dyer, and her sense of color is so amazing. Her yarns are very bright, often very variegated. She does some solids and things too, but it's hard to know how to use some of the variegated yarns that she produces, but they're stunning. They're like works of art. So she offered a color wheel club where she's going to develop, I forget how many colors. It's ridiculous. Some ridiculous number, like 180 or something like that, 160. And they're done in mini skeins, and she's not naming them. She's not re-dyeing them. She's only offering them like on a monthly basis. So I thought, well, that'd be a really neat way to figure out some kind of blanket or process to put them in and do it like in a rainbow fashion, because that's how she's putting them out. Like she did the pinks first, then like a darker pink, reds, and I think oranges now. So I should be 5 months in, but I'm only 2. I've only 2 done, and the ends are not woven in as per my usual. So I'm going to show you the what I'm choosing to do with mine. I am making what's called the Stella blanket. So basically it is, and all the colored parts of this are ruby and roses, and they're dyed in her soft rose base, which is a fingering weight base. So I hold them double, and the Stella blanket is by Laura Penrose, and it's available on Ravelry. I'm knitting it on US 4 needles, and it is fingering weight. You could use a DK weight, but I'm using fingering weight held double. Now the white, so this, it mimics a quilt block, right? Which I love. People in my family are like my ancestors. They did a lot of quilting, and I would love to learn. Again, it's just another hobby that I probably don't have enough time for, but I would love to learn maybe some basics someday. In the meantime, I'm doing this. So this is the knitted version. This is just like the one square that she offers, and I think I'm gonna stick to this in knit 12 squares, which will be the 12 months that she offers each color. So this is the lighter pinks, which I chose probably some really light pinks I really didn't per se care for. Pink is not my favorite color, but you know, actually this dyer makes me love it. I absolutely love the center square on this one, and I don't know if you can see the colors, but I feel like they're just so brilliantly done. She's a very talented dyer. The white in this, so she offers a neutral base. It gets pretty expensive because one of these squares uses over 400 yards of white yarn because you're holding a double. So I actually bought Knit Picks fingering weight undyed yarn in the I think the Swift base, which is the fingering weight, which is super wash merino, and I believe there's a little bit of nylon, but there's like 400 and some yards to each skein, so it's a little bit more economical. But this is the first square of my Stella blanket, and those are kind of like the lighter pinks, and I believe she I don't know if she calls them she has a name for each one, and I'm terrible. I'll probably try to get it out next time so that you know what I'm talking about. And the next one is like the darker pinks, almost leaning towards purple at times. It's amazing. So this one, it looks kind of similar, but again, this is the same quilt block, just done with different colors. And some of these are really bright, darker pinks. Some of them are tending closer towards purple, but when you look as part of that square, you see that there are definite pinks involved in those colors. And then, you know, some brighter pinks down here, almost tending towards a red, which is where we'll be moving in the next square, and I need to start that. So I'm really loving the pattern. It's very interesting construction. It's a paid for pattern, so you can make pillows. You can do just one square and make a pillow. If you have some, you can use up fingering weight scraps. You can do like I'm doing and do a huge blanket. Hopefully mine will be rainbow near the end, but it is really an interesting construction. There are like 5 different ways that you connect each block, and then if you're sewing them all together, you can even knit them all together connected. I just didn't know what order I would want mine in moving forward, so I left them like this, and then at the end we'll sew them all together. And I'm not using every mini skein. I think I have 2 or 3 left each time there is an installment sent, And so I probably will use that in a border color that will be hopefully rainbow then as well. So it's been so much fun for that. I need to get on to the red blocks so that I can catch up, because I think there's some orange and yellows coming soon. So that will be fun. She's doing it in the Roy G. Biv fashion, which is excellent and great. I, of course, will be looking forward to the G-Biv section, because those are kind of my colors, the green, blue, indigo, and violet, more so. But I'm finding that I have more of an appreciation for other colors that maybe I didn't before. And I'm also finding that my color preference actually changes as well. So, you know, this time of year, I tend towards fall colors, like your plums, your dark purples, your rust, your orange, yellow, you know, army greens. Like I find that that's just a great color palette as well. So anyway, nothing like other than that. I haven't really been watching a lot of network things. There's a couple things I want to start on Netflix, so you can leave me a comment down below if there's a great series you're watching and you would recommend. I do have to watch the second series of Wednesday. I cannot believe I haven't yet. I need to get into that series, the second half. I've discovered, so I will mention this knitting podcast. It's like knitting and making podcast. Young Folk Knits, who is a maker that I love. I find her podcast to be really refreshing. She's obviously younger than I am, but she is actually, she's actually, you know, doing this whole thing as far as that goes, like the podcast thing, and is very professional looking. So I can't imagine putting together a video like that. So if you heard me say, oh no, I think my screen dimmed and I was like, what's going on? My battery should be on. So anyway, I just wanted to say hello and thank you for joining me. And I wanted to share some bee knits today, the baby knits and blankets. So maybe, I don't know that I'll always have a theme for each podcast, but today I actually did. If I get a chance and if I can figure it out, I will include a little portion of it on this video for my daughter's blanket. So if not, I hope that you have a gorgeous fall afternoon. I hope that the weather is as beautiful as it is here in Pennsylvania in my backyard. So I appreciate you spending some time with me, and happy knitting. Okay, I'm back, and so this is the blanket that I knit for my daughter for her birthday. It is knit out of, goodness, I'm gonna have to put all these kind of things in here, like the pattern and everything. Emma's yarn, and it's the DK version. So it starts over here with, it's just a gray base. I think it's called Jackie O background. I will have to get you the pattern, and it just goes through the rainbow, which I thought that my daughter would just really love. And it's just a little lap blanket, but my daughter is not really big. She's probably 80 pounds, soaking wet. But I loved it. It actually, you're gonna see here, they entered in the fair for me and won first place in the small knitted Afghans. So at our local fair, it didn't win a prize, but I love it. I think if you're knitting and you'd like it for like a little shawl wraparound, it definitely is the right size for something like that. You could just wrap it around you if you were more inclined to do that. You could definitely modify this pattern, make it a little thinner if you wanted to just do a scarf, and then you could, there's a bee here, you could just, you know, lengthen it even and repeat the pattern or extend some of these things. There's all kinds of different ways to modify. And I think that's a really good point, talking about modifying knitting. A lot of times we, you know, and it's fine, you know, I am a big proponent of just like buying the pattern and knitting it. And I think that's fine. I do that a lot. But I think that there's also this license that sometimes I know I myself don't take a lot, to knit a pattern and then to modify it to my needs. So, you know, don't be afraid to do that or to play around with your knitting. It is just knitting. There are no mistakes, and it is, you know, it is crafting either a garment or an article that somebody hopefully will love and use for a really long time. And that is my hope when I gift somebody some of my knitting. So, all right, now this will really be the end of the video. So have a great day. Take care. And until next time, I hope you're knitting and having fun with your knitting or fiber. Bye-bye.